Hello 8th graders, this is a video teaching lesson on lesson 95 in your math, exponentials with negative bases. This is review. We've already talked about this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this, but it is pretty important to understand this, and so I am going to briefly review this. And so again, know the difference between this and this and this. In this case here, my negative sign goes back here, and I take 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay? This exponent only affects this number here. The negative sign goes in the back, in front of this number. In this case here, then I am squaring everything that is inside parentheses. And so a negative 2 times a negative 2 is equal to a positive 4. Okay, so let's go to 95a2. A squared minus ab squared minus b squared. If a is a negative 2 and b is a negative 3, okay? So if a is a negative 2, right, then I'm going to write it like this. Be careful about this because, again, I'm squaring a. And so if a is a negative 2, I have to write it inside parentheses. Let's bring this negative sign straight down, and then I have a negative 2. And here, again, I have this negative 3 squared. I bring this guy down like this, and then b is a negative 3 squared. Okay, so I kind of want to look at this in 3 parts. Let me just use this in green here. So this is kind of like one part, and then this is another part because everything in here is multiplied, or I consider everything in here as far as the negative signs. The exponent obviously belongs to here only, all right, and then from here to here. Okay, so I have a negative 2 times a negative 2, which is a positive 4, and then I have a negative 3 times a negative 3, which is a positive 9, times 2, which is an 18. Okay? Now, let's see what sign it gets. So I do this first, right? And this gives me a positive 9, right? So positive, and then I have 2 negative signs in front of that. It's an even number, right? So this is positive. But this is tricky. But there's a total of 4 negative signs here. There's one there, and there's 2 there. And so that's an even amount, so 18 is positive. And then here, I would have a negative 3 times a negative 3 is a positive 9, and then have a negative sign, so that's a total of 3 negative signs, and so that would be negative. And so 4 plus 18 is 22. 22 minus 9, 12 minus 9 is 3, and so I have a positive 13 for my answer there. Okay? Again, it's kind of tricky to keep everything straight here, and so it's not particularly difficult. You just have to make sure that your numbers and your negative signs, make sure you keep your negative signs, the ones that are given to you, bring those down, and then obviously within parentheses, make sure those are correct as well. Okay, that's all I have for lesson 95.